So I stayed up for 40 hours. Most importantly, I stayed productive the whole time, almost the whole time. But we'll get into that. So how did I do it? Well, first, since you're here, welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming. Give the video a like and subscribe if it benefits you in some way, which I hope it does, of course. So, as a college student currently, the topic of this video is really interesting to me, and I think it's an important idea, important concept to know, important tips to have, and I think it will benefit you if you're someone who is motivated and willing to work hard for success, like me. So what I'll be talking about today, what I'll be talking about today will be like working for a long time, and specifically I'll talk about an all-nighter experience that I had. But why should you listen to this random college student about working hard, right? Because I've only been in the game for a few years, right? Well, if you don't know me, my name is Andrew. I'm an undergraduate student studying neuroscience. I have straight A's, play sports, exercise, have some on-campus leadership roles, and I make these videos. So though I'm learning how to research, how to learn, how to make these YouTube videos the best way I can be for free, I think I know a thing or two about staying productive and maximizing your day. Again, welcome to the channel. The videos I upload to this channel are based on my interests, experience, and personal research that I do on these topics outside of my learning. It's separate from my collegiate learning, like I alluded to, but I do try to put in as much time and effort as I can. I love to learn, so I'm happy to make these videos, and I'm happy to talk in front of a camera and create a community of discussion and education where we can all learn and grow. So, how can I work for 40 hours productively? Well, today we'll be mainly talking about pulling an all-nighter and the 2 days surrounding that. The word can mean a lot of things to different people: sleep loss, joy, motivation, inspiration, you name it, right? Scientists actually call anything past 24 hours total sleep deprivation, so not very good. Most people think of it negatively. Point is, people have a lot of different experiences, so you'll find a lot of conflicting views on this particular topic. Because a lot of people you'll find will support working hard, but they won't really support working those long hours that are required for most jobs where you have to put in more time to be more successful, you know. As for me, I'm pretty neutral, though I do think those 8 hours of work can be pretty powerful. So for this video, I'll talk about the experience I had with an all-nighter and the days surrounding it. Then I'll go over the best tips I've found online and in that experience that I believe could have helped me make those 40 hours of work even more bearable and, better yet, efficient. And hopefully you'll learn as a result. So let me set the stage. It's the beginning of my second semester of college, and I didn't have that much going on. No plans, no college activities, no clubs, so I had an idea to try out an all-nighter. I would spend the day as I normally do for Fridays, which largely means wake up at 6 a.m., work, classes, work, workout, work, go to sleep, but this time just take away the sleep. Sounds easy enough. I wanted to pull my first all-nighter in college, so I prepared coffee, water, snacks, lined up some work to do, and made a basic plan. I would finish my homework, write all the papers that I needed, and have the rest of the weekend to do whatever work I wanted, like making these videos, and also just recover in case it was an absolute train wreck. So now I did document this all-nighter as a YouTube short, which you can watch. It's on my channel, and that was pretty fun to make. It definitely added to my motivation and made the night interesting, and also motivated me to stay on task more. And I did end up getting a lot done, and early for that matter. I ran out of work to do, and so once I did finish everything that I had planned by about 4 o'clock in the morning, my coffee and snacks were out, and I was mentally out. It was an interesting roller coaster. I didn't go to sleep, but it was an interesting roller coaster. The crazy part of all this is that the next day I felt relatively normal. This was probably due to my sleep hygiene, which I do take somewhat seriously. I make it a point to have a sleep schedule and habits that I use to make sure I have a great sleep every night so that I can be prepared for my long days. But regardless, it was surprising how much I could keep working and doing everyday things like socializing, working, exercising, and tending to my extracurriculars. I mean, I didn't feel slow or foggy the entire day. And in my notes, this let me keep up those activities that I really enjoy, which is important to have priorities, of course. And what I will say is that I noticed a lack in sleep quality for around 3 to 4 days, but this was only really noticeable because I am so self-aware and do pay so much attention to my sleep and wakefulness. And I mean, why wouldn't I? I've spent a really long time creating an almost superhuman brain and body, in my opinion. And it's something that I feel has put me ahead of my peers. Anytime I talk to people at my college, they're always tired or stressed. And life just doesn't have to be that way. It frustrates me every time I see people with bad habits or priorities that I've had in the past and gotten over. And it's part of why I started making these videos, because I want to teach people good ways to go about these things so they don't impact you long term. Because an all-nighter can be really stressful for your body. The body is not really made to go this long without sleep, right? So, but there are things that scientists know that can help you to make the most of it, right? Make it worth it, or more worth it. Anyway, I just wanted to go on that rant and mention how powerful proper health is. It can turn you into a true workaholic, beast, hard worker, whatever you want to call it. So now let's get on to the tips and tricks that I use to stay up and stay productive for almost an entire work week worth of hours. The first thing, and this is something I really stress, is having a plan, right? You want to go into it feeling great and excited rather than stressed out or dreading it. The worst thing you could do is go into this not wanting to do an all-nighter, right? Like being forced to write a paper, forced to cram for an essay. That's going into it with the mindset of, oh, well, I have to do this thing, or I'm gonna fail. I think going into it really stressed out is not really the way to go about it. If you really want to be healthy throughout the whole thing and minimize the after effects. So definitely don't slack off the day before using the excuse of, I'll do it later tonight, or I'll do it in the morning. Because why would you create more work or stress for yourself that could carry over into those late night hours when your body's already kind of on a decline and your mental health's kind of going a little bit? Why make it more stressful? It doesn't really make sense to do that when it could lower your engagement and efficiency, kind of negating the effect of the night, making you useless. And you just end up with the same amount of work done and 8 hours less sleep. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, so back to my experience. I started my work at 6 a.m. the day before the all-nighter. I'm a creature of habit, of course, and 6 a.m. just works for me. I worked, went to classes, socialized, and kept the all-nighter kind of in the back of my mind, just kept thinking about it. This was good. I had a plan and set some goals, making it easier to visualize what the experience would be like and at certain times and prepare for it as much as I could. Okay, second thing, nappuccino. So when you get close to that time you normally go to bed, think about taking a quick nap. You also want to drink some coffee right before that so you wake up more energized than ever. I don't think I need to talk about caffeine, as it is the largest globally consumed drug in the world. I actually didn't know what a nappuccino was before this all-nighter, so I took no naps and limited my caffeine intake as much as possible. This was good for health, but not very good for staying up. I was fighting this tiredness all night. And so what a nap does is it resets the adenosine in your body. It lowers those levels. And that is a neurotransmitter which in your brain says, hey, we've been up a while. Why don't we just go to that bed, take a nice nap, right? And like I said, I didn't do this reset. So my adenosine levels were still up here and they could have started down here. And so I had to fight off that tiredness. So drink coffee, take a nap, pretty simple. All right. Now I have a question for you. What is the logical next tip that you think I would have after saying to take a nap? That's right, caffeine. So very powerful, like I said. But I should give you some warnings or guidelines for this. So during my experience, I probably had about 300 milligrams of caffeine during the whole thing, between a protein energy bar and about 3 cups of coffee throughout the 2 days. And that's probably a minimum, or that's a healthy amount, because 400 milligrams is the highest recommended. That is sort of healthy in a 24-hour period for an adult. But yeah, this miracle drug, if you want to call it that, can keep you up for days if you want to, but don't really recommend that, and neither will any physician that you know. So maybe hold off on those Starbucks Nitro cold brews. I sure know I could. If anything, my experiences and the sources I'm using on this video say it's best to save caffeinated drinks until you really need them. and that's how you can get the most bang for your buck with energy, and you'll spend less money on drinks, which I know any college student watching will love that tip. So you're welcome for the $5. All right, on to number 4. And that would be to stay motivated and engaged. So motivation as a whole. It can be really easy to let your mind wander into la la land throughout the night because, you're having to work a lot of hours. It's late at night, early in the morning. So you need to control that. During my 40 hours, I did my best to make sure I had a lot of work to do and had a plan. And I also tried to space out the projects or assignments that I was really interested in to try to not do too much that I was bored with. But I also sprinkled in some creative work, so like making thumbnails or doing video research for videos like these. And this allowed me to stay engaged while also making the most use of those creative or disciplined sparks that I got throughout the 2 days. This is a pretty research-backed and data-driven tactic to increase your output while decreasing the overall time it takes to complete something. So like mixing in something that you're excited to do, something boring that you're not really excited to, like for me it would be writing, and then going back to something creative. It can help you deal with those harder tasks in a more motivated way because you're excited to get it done. You want to get it done and you want to do it of quality, of course, if you're with a certain level of quality, if you're someone like me. So regarding motivation, I had written in my notes from the night that I found a while back that I was getting a bit sleepy around midnight or hour 18. And at this point I had been writing some essays for about 2 hours, and writing is not my strong suit. So I was getting quite tired. I am trying to work on it though. I've been writing a lot of essays recently, just not required, just purely for practice and like writing the scripts for these videos. And so it's best to do work that you're passionate about or interested in if you plan on working anywhere near this long of a time frame, because you want to stay up if you're going to work this long, right? So, okay, the 5th tip now. So I know all of this has been about productivity, but I should mention that you should consider taking a break to recharge your batteries when you're feeling unproductive or inefficient. I actually want to walk around my campus at 3 a.m., but I am never doing that again. Just stick to the at-home stuff, I recommend. I found that my best break was actually filled with a few chapters from my Bible. So I actually read the Bible every day, or try to, and I take notes. And I found that it's really good for my faith. Of course, do whatever fits you. But so, it did the trick that reminded me that I believe God wants us to honor him by doing our best in all that we do. So make sure you take breaks, recharge your batteries. It's good for your health. You want to stay up, so don't force yourself to work too much if it's going to make you fall asleep and not work at all, right? So all those things that I listed are things that I do regularly but sparingly throughout the night to stay my best when I was working and do whatever I needed. Regarding the walk, definitely stick to something where you wouldn't get kidnapped in the middle of the night. That was probably not smart of me, and it was a very creepy experience. So, mentioning food, that brings me to the 6th and final tip, which is you should eat healthy. Just because you're staying up late at night does not mean that you should go all the way and then just chug the energy drinks, chug the monsters, just eat whatever's available. It can be very tempting to chug your protein shakes or energy drinks, or eat whatever you have in your dorm, desk, or fridge. I've been there, but you should make an effort to drink plenty of water, prepare healthy food for your night, and treat your body like a temple. Take care of it. I do that by staying in shape, eating right, giving my all in everything, making sure I keep some habits that just keep my body and mind healthy. And I like to test my limits all the time, right? Pulling this all-nighter was one more way that I could to see what I could handle, and I think it's great. I think you should definitely pull an all-nighter to get that experience and see what it's like, see if you can handle it, because I think it's really important to have those experiences. So all of this requires eating the right things, so stay away from too much carbs, sugars, and other things that can make you sleepy. Think about maybe taking some vitamins, getting some protein, or maybe just stick with coffee and water. Like, you don't even have to eat. You can just make it an intermittent fasting thing and just drink coffee and water. This eating healthy and drinking caffeine, I guess, is good for increasing attention, decreasing drowsiness, and lessening the long-term effects of working for longer than an 8-hour shift, which of course most people are not used to. Of course, there's also other long-term benefits for your health of eating healthy. So it's just something I recommend in general. That's all I have. Those are the strategies I use to work an entire work week in just 2 days. Come super prepared. Start with an Appuccino, I recommend, even though I haven't tried it. Stay engaged, stay active, and eat healthy. I realize that's only 5, but there were 6 in there, I promise. It's mainly just about maximizing good habits, minimizing the bad, right? Just like anything else in life. And remember, all this is not just to be beneficial in your all-nighter experience, but it's also crucial in keeping you functional during the following days where you might be fatigued after total sleep deprivation. After my experience, was actually pretty functional the next day. I found that I was able to, like I said, able to perform all the things that I normally do, like things that I think are important to me, like socializing and working. I was able to get a lot of work done in terms of YouTube, like learning. And so I'm really glad you've stuck around this long. I hope you got something out of it. If you'd like, please comment any ideas you have for topics you'd want me to cover. I know I mentioned a few during this video that I would be pretty passionate about making videos, like some of the habits I talked about, some sleep habits, hygiene in general, productivity videos. I try to dedicate, just for a time horizon, I try to dedicate around 2 to 3 hours a week in order to make these videos pretty consistently alongside everything else going on in my life, like essays, projects, exams, networking, research, not to mention a social life. And I will say college is a juggling act, but it's one I've gotten quite used to. I love my current life and I can't wait to see what my future holds. I'm so excited for the future, and I hope you're along for the ride of this YouTube channel. Anyways, thank you so much. Have a great day. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you next time.